What's up, guys? Welcome back to Fish of Hex. We're here with our second video, our subscriber Q&A with Mike Lemming. I'll put a link to his channel in the description below so you can check out his stuff. So we're just going to keep going in on our Q&A. We're going to talk about water parameters today and kind of, clarify a few things for you guys. So let's get into it. How you doing, Mike?
What's going on, man? How you doing today?
Good. Just getting it done.
Just another day, right? So last time we talked was an equipment conversation, which kind of leads us into the next subject is water parameters. I've had high, what have I had? Calcium, alkalinity, and magnesium has been high for a while. We kind of came to the conclusion it's my salt. The new salt water they have is breeding out lower than what's needed. So what I've been doing is making new water. So my question to you is, should I keep doing my little because I have a 30-gallon plus a 10-gallon sump. I don't know what the water, exactly how much water I have in my system. I've tried to calculate, it just doesn't seem to work out right. But do I do like a huge water change, or should I just keep doing my 10% weekly? I need to get everything down. You know that.
Yeah. Well, back in the day when I got new salt, I ended up bringing my magnesium level up to over 2,000 just based on the salt. I got a bad batch. It was unfortunate. Now, what happens, it took almost 300 gallons worth of water changes in the 125 to get it down to 1450. And it took, that's a lot of money. So I would recommend for you to continue doing your 10% water changes weekly and then adjust those levels. Say you're at 11 DKH and you want to get it down to about 7 or 8. Now,
I think I'm at 10.9.
So if you want to get it down there, you don't want to do any you don't want to do big fluctuations, drastic fluctuations. You want to do that, over a period of a month or two. You want to slowly bring it down with those 10% water changes, and that way your corals can adjust as well. So.
Okay, so another part of parameters. I've had what I believe to be like a cyano problem. It's been going on like slowly and gradually for at least a week now. So what I did is I bought ChemiPure Elite because I've heard that takes phosphates. I bought a phosphate test kit that should be here within the next couple of hours. But what do you think I should do to get rid of cyano, or even, I guess, better of a question, what am I doing wrong to get the cyano in my tank?
All right. Well, to identify cyano, there's like a blue and there's a red type of cyanobacteria.
Yeah, like a red hair algae kind of thing.
Yeah, and it stays kind of like on mats on the bottom of the tank, kind of like on the rock work. And it's in ideally, cyanobacteria is going to grow in a low flow area. I know you just added that new pump, but there's going to be dead spots regardless of how many pumps you have. And cyanobacteria, its main cause is basically excess nutrients. You're going to have it either from your auto top-off water, can have nitrates and phosphates in it. Your water changes aren't good enough. You're overfeeding too much. Your tank is overstocked. Now, all these things are going to contribute to having the cyanobacteria. And the way to get rid of it is you can manually remove it. I know you can get it with a net. You can go in there and scoop it out. That's one way. That's always a good way to do it. And then you want to find the root cause. You want to find out what's causing that. So you're going to have to get a TDS meter for your RO water, see where that's coming out as.
So I haven't been using RO because I had the RO system I bought. It was brand new. I bought it off Amazon. It was just a 50 gallon per day, and
so
for a little while I was getting like 8 to 12. And after using it like 4 or 5 times, it jumped up to like 120. So instead of what I need to do is buy the BRS one that I can, control, I've just been buying distilled water. So last time I tested distilled water with the TDS meter, it was at like 30, which I know it's a lot higher than I should have, but I don't have the money to buy, the RODI unit yet. So can I get away with the 30 TDS?
Ideally you don't want to, and it's hard to explain. Basically, ideally, there's a certain percentage that you can have, like my tank, I can go up to like 12 because I have a 125 gallon tank, but I always zero. I don't accept anything but zero. It's always been that way. But I know that your situation is dictating the fact that you have to have that kind of water right now.
Yeah.
It's understandable. A couple of things. I wouldn't go and just go buy a BRS one. I would go ahead and do the eBay one. I have an eBay one, and I just added the
And it works well for you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, using it forever. It was like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It was a 6-stage, and then I added 2 DI cartridges on the end. I have to do my first membrane change, and it's been 2 years, so I'm going to do my first one on that.
2 years, one change, huh?
Well, that's the membrane. Now I changed the pre-filters and the GAC filter and the carbon filter and all that stuff as needed, along with the DI resin. Now the key is to have that dual TDS meter so you can measure what the TDS coming off the membrane and then after the DI resin. I guarantee, since we know that your tank is not overstocked, we know that you're not overfeeding. I know that your rock.
That's questionable.
Yeah, you're
Not overstocked, but I might overfeed.
Yeah, well, that's something that you check out the other video. It says only feed what they eat in 5 minutes, so just go by that rule. You should be fine. Yeah. Also, we know that your rock is relatively new, so that could contribute to a little bit, but it was dry rock previously. So if you want to weigh out the things that are causing your cyanobacteria, your auto top-off water most likely is the cause of the excess nutrients. Do what you can to get the RO system under control, because once cyano really starts taking off, you're going to find it more frustrating as the day goes on. So I would wrap your finger around any purchases. Yeah, any purchases in the future should be around getting your RO water as clean as possible. So
it's hard to comprehend that, because I need a lot to get this 75 going. As you know, I start talking about what I need, and before I'm done, it's been 30 minutes, and I've named 15 things I need to get.
Yeah.
Just another quick question. I think I've been running my tank. It's been sitting at like 79.78 all winter, and then recently, since it started getting warm, it's been sitting at like 81 actually. So just yesterday, I turned both my heaters down, and I'm at 70. And then, again, this is like one of the little ones where you have the like thermometer, and it's like the small digital readout. It's been saying like 78.98, something like that. Should I trust that, or should I kind of just raise it to like 79.5 because it gives that little fluctuation? What do you think?
Well, what I would do is, you're using the little one that has like the black screen with a little probe. Those are notoriously inaccurate. That's just the way it is. I know that I use 2 different meters to test what my current temperature is before I calibrate the temperature probe on the apex. Now, you're going to want to get multiple sources and kind of put them all together to determine what the temperature actually is. But what I would do is keep it on the lower end, because it's the high temperatures that really start negatively affecting coral. What I usually do during the summertime is I don't have a chiller on my system yet, which I probably will get soon, because I wonder what costs more, having the AC on or having a chiller. I haven't really determined that yet. But what I usually do is go ahead and keep the temperature just slightly lower than I usually do, like not even a half a degree, half of a half a degree. And basically that allows any fluctuations. I try to keep my tank under 80 at all times. It usually stays at like 78.5 to 79.5. That is really just
a small margin of error.
Oh, I even have it within a half a degree. It just depends on what time of year it is. And then obviously this time of year, I'm struggling with pH as well, with having the AC on, because I can't keep the windows open all the time, because, I don't want 80-degree temperature coming in the house and messing with the tank, so I'm not getting the oxygen and removing the CO2 from the house, so I'm battling lower pH levels, so it's kind of a pain in the butt during this time of the year.
So do you find yourself keeping your hood open? Because I've been keeping mine, even though I have like a glass top, I've been keeping it open. Yep, I keep it open all night. At nighttime, I open up the canopy doors, and then I open up the sump doors as well, and I let everything just stay open. Yep. Yeah. I might have to start trying that, because it's been hot. Like I said, I changed the thermometers, but it's still, like I said, it's probably, I just checked a minute ago, but I would assume it's probably like 80 right now, or 79 point something.
Now, one quick note though, it's not that the higher temperature, once you get 81 degrees and stuff like that, it starts to affect the corals. But I mean, some people could even debate it can go higher than that. I keep it below 80, but it's not the high. It's not the constant high temperature. It's going to be the fluctuations. So if you have your sorry, my screen went black there. So if you have your actual thermometer set at like 78, and then it sits up at 80 and does that 2-degree fluctuation, that's what's going to start affecting your corals negatively. So
just like my salinity is, because that's the one thing that sucks right now with this. Hang over the side PVC overflow, is that I'm always adding it on my own. So it's at night and in the morning I go check the refractometer. It's like off, dude, quite a bit. And I've calibrated it, but it seems like my tank is doing a lot more evaporation than I should. So I feel like I'm putting in like a half gallon every time, dude. So it's probably not good for my corals, like you're saying. That's another reason I'm pretty anxious to get the 75 going, because I have the auto top off, but I can't set it up with the, hang on the back. But that's a good question I had too, as well, as like trace elements. You know how many corals I have in my tank. I have what you gave me plus 5. So quite a bit, actually, because you hooked me up. Either way, they're all small. For the most part, they're all small. I see on all your videos when you show your sump, you have quite a bit of dosing going on. And there's at least like 4 trace elements. Is that something I should do, when I get the new tank up, or is that something I should do once they get bigger and I need to maintain it? Because you don't test for that, right?
No, I do. Actually, I do have the Red Sea color program that's associated with the actual Red Sea color program. Like I have the test kit and all that stuff. Now, the thing is that all the growing I did up to about 3 or 4 months ago in this tank and in the previous system as well, it was all just standard calcium, alkalinity, and magnesium was all I was dosing, some strontium as well. But if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Anyways, you don't need these things to be successful. The only reason why I've added like the zeolite trace elements and all this stuff is because I wanted to bring it to the next level. What you should do is when you're starting off growing these, you need to do the basics. So you need to keep proper and stable calcium, alkalinity, and magnesium levels at all times. Keep your salinity stable and your temperature stable. Once you have all those down packed and you get a few months of growth underneath, it's good to go ahead and then you can add and experiment things with like the color program or Coral Snow and Coral Vitalizer or their different trace elements and stuff like that.
Speaking of zeolite, this is probably a question all your subscribers want to know. Is it coming back?
It is, yeah. It's actually going to be in that planted tank, that one that I have set up in my son's room. When we finally move, that's going to be drilled through the center. We're going to do a rock structure on the side, and it's going to be zeolite. Yeah, so
cool. Now that's going to be exciting to see.
Yeah.
And this again might be just like some new question, but if I am dosing alkalinity, and you did a video on this, but if I'm dosing alkalinity, calcium, magnesium, is it something I can't just like throw it all at the same time, right? It needs to be like.
No, I mean it depends. It depends on the amount. For example, if I was to do it, say I was to do all of mine at one time, it'd be almost 160 milliliters of each at one time. That'd be kind of ridiculous on the system. So ideally, you want to break that up. But for the amount that you're going to need, remember I recommend 15 milliliters per 25 gallons of water just to start off, and then test in a week or two, see where your level's at, and make adjustments up and down from there. And that's what you want to do as for that. Now, some people, if you don't have a dosing pump, some people go ahead and pour like the alkalinity in the sump and then pour the calcium in the display tank, and then they will mix in their own. I wouldn't just go ahead and pour them both in the same area of the sump, because then they'll precipitate out, which is the problem. If you have a dosing pump like I do, you can go ahead and do pumps. Yeah, pumps. You can do like at 12 o'clock or on the hour, every hour I do my portion of calcium, and then every half an hour on that hour. That makes sense. I do the alkalinity portion of it, so I just mix it up throughout the day, give it a half an hour break in between. So.
All right, so I'm pretty sure you're setting me up for success for this next tank. I do have a lot more questions. I think as far as parameters, I'm pretty set. Again, this is a saltwater hobby, and things just come up, so I will be questioning you, pretty regularly. But next week, if you're cool, I'd like to do this again. We try to do an every week thing, but with
life gets in the way sometimes, yeah.
So I do have some more questions like fish, corals, but it seems to be going well, and I appreciate the help, man.
All right, so we'll just we'll do is we'll just set up a time next week, and we'll move into the coral and the fish and stuff.
Cool.
We'll probably end up breaking it up into 2 videos just because they're so extensive each one. But other than that, guys, I appreciate it. And
man, it was fun. Yeah, right on, dude. I'd like to do it again.
Yeah, and I'll put a link for your, like I said, your channel in the bottom so everyone can check that out.
Thank you, sir. Guys, like, comment, subscribe.
Good.
Travis, thanks again.
All right.
I will talk to you guys soon, dude. Thanks.
Peace.